The media tends to glorify tech CEOs as heroes, and I think the broader startup community does the same, spending more time talking about success than failure. How do you think this affects, new founders when they inevitably hit their first roadblock or first failure?
There's a lot of differing opinions on startup failure. There are the people who say, well, there's no such thing as failure because I'm just learning this for something else. And then there are other people who say I would never invest in a founder who failed because it shows they were wrong the first time and they would they couldn't execute or whatever it is. And so I think that the lens to look at this through is very broad, meaning if you really widen the aperture on your thinking about what it means to be an entrepreneur. An entrepreneur, at the end of the day, at least for me, is an identity, right? So it's an identity. A failure is a point in time. A failure is a series of decisions I made that turned out to be incorrect, or things that I thought were going to happen that didn't happen. The broader failure is not doing, not trying, not putting your heart into it, not learning. So I think that's really important. Is people will kind of get consumed with this idea of like, oh, I tried something and it didn't work, or we didn't get the signups, or we didn't launch the product, or we didn't get the customers, or any of the number of things that can go wrong. And there's like an almost infinite number of things that can go wrong in a startup. Versus, okay, this happens, so what?
Mm-hmm.
One way that Jerry Colonna puts it is, he says, this being so, so what?
Mm.
And if I can start to accept the reality that's in front of me, then I can deploy my resource to figure out what am I going to go do about it. If I don't accept the reality that's in front of me because ego, or I'm lacking information, or I don't want to change my mind, or I'm being too rigid, then I can't make the necessary steps to change. Acceptance of reality, which by the way is also at the heart of being a conscious entrepreneur, acceptance of reality winds up really helping you to steer your decision making.